Hey, um, there we go. Hello, Helen.
Brian,
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. All right.
Let me just share this to start with. And so there's just a disclaimer, a full risk disclosure here. A little bit about us as live session traders. I'd like to show this just up the front of the session. And while we're here, we'll come and look at here. It's UJ down by 115. A lot of these ones up, and then this AUD CAD, it's still just sitting there. So that's okay. This is not necessarily about, quick trades. These are, it may occur where, you get 300 pips in something, or, nearly 300 there on something else. But, and they come up back for, you get into a bit of drawdown from, or not drawdown, sorry, your profit gets decreased and then it increases again. This is what I've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks. This here, though, we'll have a look at this UJ. And we'll have a look at that AUD CAD, but we can look at all the others as well. Anyway, so let me just share across. Welcome, Grace. Good to see you. So we're over. If you've got any questions, Grace, just put them out.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. This is the UJ. So you can see this is where I got in the trade, pulled down. It probably, in hindsight, you'd go and like over a number of days. It didn't pull anyway. So pull back up here. Obviously, not obviously. Where is? Hang on a minute. We'll just have a look and see where is my stop loss on that one. 144,081. Somewhere here. Hey, Glenn and Alistair.
Hi, Brian. Grace, everybody.
Hi there.
One. So that's where my stop loss is. If it does come up, it's going to break this high here. But what I'm at, if you look over here, I'm just looking at market structure as such. And look, it could spike, but I can see that this has come back into this after this drop here. It's come into that area there, and it's basically pulled its way back up to there. Come back, retest. If it does break through there, so what? I've got 0.01 on it. I am not concerned. I'm just trialing this, and from a market structure perspective myself, if it does, it does. It means it's going to go higher, right? The point is, it came up here, down. It could break this high here, right? Because you can see it's been in an uptrend for a period of time, other than this, like this, where is it? June the 30th down to July the 14th. That was a big push down, right? So, we will see. I'm not too concerned about it from that sort of point of view. I just want to see whether it will continue this, whether it'll pull back down or not. It may not. It may break that. then it means it will break this high over here, most likely. Anyway, that's just an example for you to have a look at. And if we go go to the daily. You could see it has been in an uptrend. So it broke structure down here though. So I don't know, I'm just staying on the bus at the moment. And if I've only got a small amount that's attached to it, for me, it's not such a big deal. Thoughts? Anybody? And probably from a strategy perspective, probably would have been a good idea to get out a couple of days ago. So this was Monday when market changed. With hindsight.
I've only managed to watch 12 minutes of the half hour I missed last night. I was trying to watch it before, so just today's.
I was trying to rewatch it all today, and I haven't managed to at all.
That's okay. It's no problem.
So
So,
what's
Brian,
the,
if we want,
Yeah.
sorry, go on, Alistair.
no, you go.
No, I was just going to say, if for argument's sake, you had wanted to get into a buy here, going up, that would have been at that. I'm just looking at kind of trying to learn from what Tom
At this
did last
candle
night.
here.
It would have been there.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Would have been there. Out of the sell, into the buy. I'll put a placeholder and we'll go.
So we
do that.
wouldn't. We would.
Anywhere
trying to
in this
phrase this.
candle.
We wouldn't
And you
have
would
known. We don't know at the minute where during that candle the trend bar changed from red to green. So it could have been at 1 minute. It could have been at whatever the last minute is. So in potentially you would have been not getting in until the beginning of that green candle. Potentially.
Oh, that's too quick.
0.5, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Replay. There. Let's see. No, it was on the next candle.
It was the beginning of the next candle, wasn't it? But it kind of backdated it to the previous candle.
Yeah. So it was when that candle finished and this candle started.
Yeah.
That's okay. So
Yeah. No, it's just understanding where you might have got in real life.
Correct. So on that candle, for example, I didn't, but it could have been right at the start of that candle. And you have your stop loss down here.
These are not Heiken-Ashis, are they?
No, standard candles.
So it opened at kind of the top of the red candle. So you're probably somewhere about there, hopefully.
Correct. So that's where I've put it.
Yeah.
It would have pushed down up here, would have pushed back down, but not near your stop loss. And then basically it's up there. I don't know whether you probably wouldn't get out of that there. But, and you've got a red one there. That's that one push down, and then it keeps going up. So I'll get this out of the way and show you. So you can see that it turned red there. And it turned red there with one. You can see it because it's the candle color change. But the point is that's still a buy.
Yeah.
And that though, hang on, let's see. That though is a sell. That one is a buy. So yeah, you could do one of two things. I mean, also too, you could get into this trade for a buy and keep in that trade for a sell. And it's like, just the choice is yours, which is like a hedging strategy as such. But that's just that one example of UJ. I'm not in that. Hindsight though, see, this would have been, when Tokyo came in and then it moved. This is like when it moved here. This is, Tokyo again. This is on UJ. What happens here? When it moved here, no, this is more London sort of session. It's interesting to see what time some of these, on the 3 hours, some of these actually moved. Let's go back up to ACAD. And it seems to be doing this just consolidation as such. I'm going to get rid of some of these. And this is what we talked about yesterday, but just so that we can so this is the original trade I was in. I'm still in, and it's still down. It's pulled back up again, but it's sitting here. And this is the second trade, because we're waiting really for Alistair's birthday POI to sort of take it down to. It just is, this is on a 3 hours, so it's a bit, it looks like it's just consolidating to a certain extent. The only solace I've got at this point is that it's creating lower highs there. Came back up quick there to the top, but it's now just below my entry. So as I said, what have I got? It's only 3 or 4 pips. It's like nothing. But that would have been in drawdown. Then
it looks like it's creating higher lows as well. So it's kind of could do anything, couldn't it? Really?
Correct. But I'm looking at the overall trend of this pair, and it is a downtrend. So, and you're right, Hal could do whatever it wants to do. I'm just on the side of it, going into a sell direction and breaking this low over here.
Yeah.
When it gets a chance, and potentially down to Alistair's POI. I don't know if we've got any news. There's nothing there there's no RBA news. I don't know what's this one? RBA meeting minutes, that won't probably push too much. Now, this May inflation rate year on year for Canada, and now this is for 15th of August, so it will be next week. I think 15th next week. Because today's Thursday. Right, so that's the next week sort of movement, and we'll just see how we evaluate it from that sort of point at that time. What else have we got? It's interesting at the moment, every trade I'm in is in a sell direction. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but every one of them is in actual fact now a sell. Well, the UJ I've got as a sell, even though UJ has gone, which in hindsight would have been good a couple of days ago, like on the Monday when market opens or into. I'm going to have to reevaluate some of the things I do on a Monday market for me, or Sunday for some of you. But that's the AUD CAD. So let's just go through them. What about CAD J for a sell? And that is there. You can see the pull back up again, right? So I'll just get rid of that off there. I think, what is it? Look, move us a bit. 6.5. That's entry there. All right. Now, if we look at that must be 179. No, that's not it. Better put this on. That's where the stop loss is at the moment. So again, this is another pair that I go like, at this point here, even, should I have changed, or should I have got into buy, then sell, then buy? And I haven't done that. I mean, if you look at it, I got a trade there, I got a trade there, I got a trade there, I got stopped out there. Yeah, I can't really, I think if I put in trend, I'm pretty sure I got a trade sort of like that somewhere. And then another trade was somewhere here. I can't remember where it was. I mean, I could go back, but that was a trade. Then I got into another trade there. I think when it came back there. And then this one was a day because I stayed in the sell. So whatever that was there, that was not, maybe that's not the right color. Something like that, maybe. You can see that wasn't, and then now I'm in this trade at this point. So there's a lot of pips I've got out of these ones. Do I, it probably would have been also a good idea to get out of this trade. And this would have been, could have got out of it over here. Yeah, even though it's pushed back down here. Like, again, this is going a bit sideways, right? It's whether it breaks this high here. It's broken this trend line and gone above it. Yeah. So just looking at these trades where they are. So I'm still in positive territory, and I'm pretty sure I've moved. Have I? Just hang on a second. I'll just make sure. CAD J. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I've actually moved stop loss into break even plus. So it's wherever it is here. I'll put another, that original, maybe I should move that now. Or what I'll do is this. I'm pretty sure. Somewhere probably there. Yep. And it is 383. There. right? So whatever happens, even if it comes up and does stop me out, it just means I've been in the trade for, you know, whatever, last week sometime, but it's not going to be a negative as such, if that makes any sense. So just sort of from that point of view. So AUD CAD, you've seen the other AUJ. Now GU is another one. GU. What have I got here? What that line is, but anyway, I'll leave it on for the minute. So GU is 130. 31. Somewhere in there. Right, that was entry. Stop loss would be up there. That's where I'm currently in the trade at the moment. Yeah, so that's GU. Now, I could have got out of it here. I didn't. It's been a number of days. It's just doing this sort of thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure GU, my stop loss is, yeah, is below break even. So I'll put it in and show you where it is. Somewhere. Just so, I don't know if any of this is interesting or not. 271. Right, there you go. So that's the time. Where's that? Yeah, no, that's when I got into the trade. So it dropped, pull back there, got in the trade, down, back up. So it's been basically in profit the whole time. I've been in this trade for, what's this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days. 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks.
So what would encourage you, what would be your criteria for getting out of that trade, Brian? Given it's kind of pulled back quite a lot about a week ago, and then it's kind of, well, no, there was a big pullback, obviously, wasn't there? Like this 6 or 7 days in, and then it's gone down again. So what is your thinking on where you're going to hang on in till?
If I look at the daily, it's probably relatively soon.
Okay.
If I look at the daily,
yeah.
Sorry?
Level with that low over to the left.
Yeah, it's already come down to here anyway and sort of nearly matched it. So, and pull back up. I think we're in a bit of consolidation here. So I'm going to look, some of these pairs I'm in, I'm going to look and see whether by the end of this trading week, whether I get out of some of them in a very nice profit, like what's this one on, 320 pips or so. And or whether, because at the moment it's just doing sideways, right? A lot of the pairs are doing sideways. So, and then I may become a little bit more dynamic and in buys, in sells. This though it was very nice, all of this sort of stuff like this. And it would have been good if I'd maybe decided to get out here, which was on, Thursday, the end of last week. But you wouldn't know. I mean, there's that. It's done plenty of push-ups. It's on an exercise program. It's doing push-ups and pull down. So, I mean, now it's sort of dropped back down again. But what I can see is if I put a trend line across here, you can see this is just sort of like, probably not the best one. We'll just do that. You know, you can see it sort of slowly moving itself down or wedging even. I mean, it could be also too from here, or
Yeah, it could
even
be, couldn't it?
these two. And if you look from, if you look also too, like there's a fair bit of news coming up. You know, there's all this year-on-year inflation figures. I think this is just waiting for some of this, you know, this news to go on. Yeah. So, and it could push further down. Like, I don't know, but then I can always get out and get back in when I see a move anyway. All right, so that's that one, GU. And then I'm in a GBP in Singapore as well.
I'm sure if you've seen, Brian, but there's quite a few comments from Glenn in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Glenn, sorry. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Alan. Sorry, Glenn. Very hard to profit in consolidation. Absolutely, without a doubt. Oh, gosh, she's got so many questions. Oh, I'm sorry. So wouldn't price seek liquidity, therefore you would expect a new high when the trend bar color changes? I've noticed it changes color sometimes until the following candle too. Yeah, high lows, mainly Euro GBP news today. Isn't going to buy trade? No, I'm in a sell at this point. Price is trending upwards. Am I in a buy? No, I'm in a sell on all of them. So structure's broken, wick above the previous structure. I can't see potential for a retrace, but I thought the bias has now changed from buy to sell. You meant from sell to buy? Yes, correct. Overall, in whatever pair. Yeah. I'm muted as someone is sleeping nearby. Yep, I understand, Glenn. I apologize, I didn't see it. And thanks for pointing it out, Helen. I was just in my zone. So yeah, you're right. How do I put it? I suppose over the years I've noticed that there is a tendency for lots of pairs to be in a certain trend for a period of time, and then you'll get a change, and maybe those pairs will then, you know, create swing lows, for example, and then start going in a buy direction. And lots of them. I just wanted to point out before that every one of those pairs that I'm in currently is actually in that I've got them in is a sell. Not to say that they are all selling, you know. So GBP Singapore 172503. Yeah, so somewhere up here is where I got into that trade. I will put and that would have been back on the 18th, 19th as well. Oh, yes. What was it? Sorry. 172503. That's exactly where I got into the trade there after that drop and the pullback, and then off it went, right? So I have sort of weathered through a lot of this purely because we were talking about, we weren't talking about just that. And at the time, we probably had whole suite on, and probably with different settings, you know. It probably had, 55 or something on it. So there's a lot less movement going on with it. Not that we, from that sort of point of view. And I'm pretty sure stop loss would have been up here somewhere. It's probably in break even now. Yeah, it is. Right, so it's there. I could even be lower if it wanted to. I would bring it back down to here probably. Now, yeah. Anyway, that's sort of where that is at the moment. I'm just showing you warts and all, the whole trade taken back there. Once this pulled down, stop loss was probably up there. It's been pulled back down to here. And so it is in a way, it's a safe trade because it's still there. I'll go through the next rest of them, but does anyone have any comments or feedback or this would be a good one to have got into a trade now? Like the pullback just there, that's New York. This would be a good trade. Again, if you go and look at there's a bit of news coming up, but if you go look at the daily, it looks like it's coming back up, yeah? So again, what I might assess today or tomorrow is look at see where this is and get out of the trade, take the pips and run, and then look at getting in when this turned green, getting into a buy for it. And I could have probably got in earlier. Yeah, looking at this from the daily. Sorry. Mr. Wolverine, how are you?
Well, other than a few extra letters, I'm good.
Well, that's right. I'll just give you those extra ones for nothing, mate.
If I was Wolverine with a claw, that'd be good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, he is Aussie too. So, I mean, there is extra bonus with it, Jay.
How are you, Brian?
So, I'm good. Good to see you. And so you, I don't know if you've seen any of this or
I
whatever.
haven't seen any of it. Yeah, I was talking to Paul and suggested I check it out. So
Yeah, if you go back to, like, things have progressed along a bit, but if you go to the Discord, if you're in it, there is a section for relaxed. You can go have a look at that. And I really should do something to kind of put a video in for some of the change. Actually, I should put in last night's session, shouldn't I? Helen and Alistair. I should put that into the update.
Last night's session was really good.
Yeah.
I'll watch.
That's only because Tom was there.
No, it was really good to clarify things, Brian. So it's one of those ones where you and Tom were kind of sparking off each other and, getting things sorted out.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just looking at longer term, potentially longer term trades with pairs and looking at this ribbon, Jay. So people, have you got are there any questions? Glenn, you still got, hang on. In that context, I'm looking for entries. Is your buy still a sell on GS? No, it's a buy, Glenn. But the point is, I'm still in an original trade that, how do I put it? What I wanted to do is show here how trends tend to continue. GS is probably not a great example. GU, if we go back to the GU, you can see how that trend, once you're in that trade, how that trend tended to continue. It's now hit potentially a swing low and potentially on its way back up. And I think I just said to you before, this is what I'm looking for on the daily, whether that changes and whether, I'm not convinced that this is finished its sell, right? But I am looking at this saying, well, you've got changes, and I wasn't willing to get out of it, into it, out of it, into it, that sort of trading there. So if we go now to GS, that's a very different example. If you look at it, it's harder in here. Oops. There. So if you look at GS, this now has more of a buy propensity. So after this push down here and then it came back up, it would have been a good idea to get out of that, or even at that point to get into, whatever from that. So there's a lot more with this now, and particularly GS. You would be, in the trade, out of the trade, in the trade, out of the trade, in the trade, out of the trade, you know what I mean? And back in again. There's a lot of movement. But just remember, these are like you're in the trade for 1-2 days and then you're back out of it again. Yeah. So I haven't been doing that. I've just been showing that if you're in a trade at a good position or a good spot, that potentially there's good earnings to come. But this one now potentially is going to whole thing for whatever number of days. What's that? Since the 14th of July down to like this point, which is the 3rd of August, and now it's pulling back up. You've got this one red candle on the daily, it's pulling back down again. Yeah. That doesn't mean it hasn't changed the trend line though. So you could wait and watch, and then if your next candle's green back up, like get in the buy for it once this sell's finished. Yes, correct. On the daily, this one here is liquidity. Yeah, it's come back down here and it's pulled back up. We just got to see it. It came up and see how it tapped out that high there. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, I'll bring it across. Those there, it pushed up to there. Now it's pulled back down. So that's what on that 3 hourly where this most recent pullback is. And that would, you would see that there, that change though at London. So if you were following this really closely at London Open, you would be out of that trade for the buy that you'd been in for a couple of days, and you'd be now into a sell. Yeah, this is more of a sort of a couple of days. It is a pretty relaxed way of trading, or you could be super relaxed and hibernating like I've been. I've been in since here, and basically all of this is I haven't done anything other than move my stop loss to break even plus. And just showing you, that's all. So that's just that example. TB. TB or TP? Is it TB?
Trend bar, maybe?
Sorry? Trend bar.
Trend bar, yeah.
No, it's 7. Number 7. You might still have it as 18, do you? No? Yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah, because if you had it at 18, it would look different. Yeah, like that. And I think what Tom was saying, for him, he likes it a lot closer to, because he's more of an in-out guy. So it just means that you would get in the out of the trade earlier, and in the trade earlier, out the trade earlier, in the trade earlier. So, for example, here, somewhere at this point, like you could have it where it changed there. See where it's gone from green to red to green there. You may or may not, where it's turned green there, then it's there. But at some point here, you could have got in that trade there, and you would have that stop loss down at the most recent low there, and then you'd be looking at, whatever it is until that changed. Or you could look at it and then you could have stop loss up there. I mean, it just depends. It could stop hunt, but I mean, that's particularly a trade there. I mean, who's going to argue about 2.75%, for example? What I'd like to have is an alert for when this line changes from green to red or red to green. I mean, you probably get lots of alerts, but it would be a good way of having it. I mean, I've looked at the alerts. I haven't actually set it, but if you look at that, where is it? This one, the trend bar, you've only got crossing, you got moving up or moving down. I don't know if they relate to the colors. It probably is. Let's put one on. Oh, see, this gives you a number of bars. It gives you a value again. It doesn't allow you to pick an up or a down. Which is a bit annoying, really. Anyway, if anybody finds it, okay, yeah, mine looks nothing like yours. I'm on GS as well, GBP Singapore. You got that yet? Does it look anything like it now? It does. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, just a 7. So it'd be nice if you could have an alert, because it would give you an alert on the candle for that change of color. I don't know, we'll have to work out. Anyway, that's Singapore, and then GBP CAD. We've got a trade on that one. Again, that's pulling back up. Oh, hang on. We'll just get rid of that. Again, I'm probably in the trade over here somewhere. When it pulled back down, where is that? 8th, 9th, yeah, somewhere over here with stop loss. So GCAD 1843. Anyway, wherever it is, it's stop break even. Now, I could have got out of the trade down here when it got, and then back in, but we weren't sort of looking at back over here. We were still using ribbons and we still had different settings, and it was like stay in the trade, right? And it's now pulled back up again. I'm just going to get rid of that. I'll just hide it for the moment. Take that off. We don't need that for a minute. So this, I don't know if this was a second trade. Can't remember now. I'm going to have another one of whether this was in a sell. So currently now, you could be in a sell for this one. After that push up, probably more likely to push back down. I'll get rid of some of these, so we don't need them there anymore. So just looking at it from purely from a trade perspective, you could get in at this point. This has actually now broken back. Yeah. After the push up, it's broken that. So it's more likely to go in that sell. How long? Don't know. If you look at the daily, it's still in a buy. So you can make a choice what you want to do. Ultimately, it's probably better that it's a buy trade that you take based upon the daily. Does that make sense? But this is just this one candle on the day in the last 24 hours has basically pulled down and created a swing high. So just know that if you do get into a sell on this, it may be quite short-lived before it goes into the buy direction. Yeah. So that's just that GCAT at the moment. And again, I may decide, let me go back over here, wherever this is at the moment, it has pulled back up again, is I may decide to get out. And it would have been a really good idea to get out of the trade, you know, here and then out of here as well, get into buys. Like I just haven't done that though. So, but I got into the trade here and basically it's still in profit. If it does come back up and I didn't do anything or what would you say, or I was incapacitated or I carked it or whatever, it would still come up and it would come out in profit, right? Probably not lots, but it is a secured capital trade at this point. But I haven't collected any other profit on it. Okay, that's that one. NU. Let's go look at that one. Oh, wow. NU. So, and you can see, well, from my perspective, AUD and NZD are both been in all currencies against both of those pairs that has been in decline, right? So if I go and look, what is it in news? 62900. It was on the 19th, so it was around about there. Just showing you these 62900. Right. And I'm pretty sure I've got stop loss below that. But you can see where that went in the drawdown and then came back out, pulled back. So it was near, you know, near price entry and down and down and down. So at the moment, I am like 235 pips up on that trade at the moment. And longer term, I think it will continue down at this point. There isn't any sort of like, you know, you've got another point back down here. If it breaks that, then that's where it's at. If we go look at the daily, it doesn't have a lot of sign of changing. Yeah. That's how I see it anyway. And whether you want to stay or, again, if you're not in that as a, if you're not in that as a sell at the moment, you could get into that as a sell, because sells are the direction of this pair. And yes, it pulls back up for a while. Okay, that's NU, NZDCHF. When did I get into that one? On the 18th. Up here somewhere. Is it? 53986. Yep. Oh, right down there. So it was on that day over there. Whoops. And it's come back and come back and come back and been in drawdown and then gone into sell. Now, I could have got out of that, in that, out of that, in that, and the whole thing, but I haven't. Right? Looking at overall trend again.
That's the one that's back down to the, that 20 low today.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, Alistair. Yeah.
I mean,
So it's just a lot. Yeah, low. Correct. But it doesn't mean it won't go further.
no, it doesn't.
It's a New Zealand dollar, so it's going low against lots of stuff, and particularly against the Swiss franc. Swiss franc is quite, it's a very strong currency overall. So you got the NCAD again, which I've already been there and shown you. Oh, have I? No, I haven't shown you the NCAD. Oh, okay. Hang on. I thought I'd show. Oh no, that's AUD CAD. Very confusing, isn't it? So where have we got it? Is 18th, 19th, somewhere here again? Was it the 19th? 18th. So it was over here somewhere. Right, yeah. Again, was it 8306? There you go. That was where I got in it after the pullback up there. That was on the 18th. See where that one candle, you probably can't see it. That one candle pulled back up, got in the trade, went down, came back, did a, in drawdown, and then basically it's just kept dropping down. Yeah. Again, if you look at the daily, it's still red. So I'm just going to stay in that trade. Yeah. And then the other one was AUD USD, which I've been in for a while as well. And you can see AUD NZD, they're doing similar sort of crazy stuff. What date was that? That was back in the 18th. So that must be the 68158. Yep, that's it. That's where I got in. And yes, it does pull back. And yes, it does come back to it again. And then it just dropped out. Right. So where's my stop loss at the moment? 68168. No, it's back up here. I don't know what that one is. But the point is, that's where my stop loss could be. Yeah. Actually, it could be somewhere there. So that would be preserved. So if this does come back and breaks that high, then I would be in the trade there, out of it there. But the point is, I could have been out of the trade at that point or out of the trade when it came up there. Like in the early stages, I've sort of just kept in the trade. But each one of these could have been a separate, that pull back up and then you get the change there. That could have been another trade there. Pull back up, that could have been another trade. This could have been in the last 5 hours another trade as well. But it's not. Okay. Yes, a sea of red candles. Absolutely. AUD and NZD. That's right. And yes, they do pullbacks. Absolutely. But you get in that sort of the trend with it on the higher time frame and you just keep riding the, it's like having a wave that just keeps pushing you. So thoughts? Feedback?
So I had to nip off for a bit of a cock and we had an emergency was it appendectomy?
An appendectomy, yeah.
Yeah. So but that's all fine, but that was a phone call about it. Yeah, I need to watch last night, first half hour. Probably actually watch the whole thing again, Helen. You're right. Watch last night again, and I'll pick it up because it looks like Tom was following the price down relative to how it had come up. So I need to watch that. I need to watch it again. Don't recap for me just now, but yeah, look really good. So we'll see.
Okay. So Glenn, you're saying AUD USD. So that was daily analysis. I see no reason to get into the sell on the 3 hour. Is that what you're saying? Hang on. Because that's the 3 hour there. Like it's broke the low. It's more likely to break that low, but you know, that you can see that pull up there is those couple of candles there, but it's back into the sell.
I think he's saying when you got in, Brian.
Oh, right.
So look, what is it that made us under? Yeah, when you got in originally, what is it that got us in then?
One of the things to remember is we had different settings and we were using ribbons and lots of different things. So you have to go back to when that was. I mean, I can put on other settings, but if you look at it now, that changed. It went from green to red at that same point. See that there where I got in? It went from green to red. I don't know if you can see have a look where the cursor is on that one candle that turned red there. It would have been the one before. So you could have got in earlier up there now with these settings. But that one red candle, that turned red and it just kept red. It's just, it turned that one green there, which is that push back up, right? But then it continued down. So when you got in originally, okay. Does that make sense, Glenn? If you look, they were different settings at the time, but in actual fact, it really would have been the right time to get in. Or it could have got in earlier, but it is a good time to have got in because it's just continued down. Don't agree? Do agree? But the point is, I suppose the point is I've stayed in that whole time. And one of the things I have learned is once you get in the trade, you'll get a pullback that will test that either once or twice. There's been quite a few pairs that you get this retesting from when I've got in from a swing high, for example. It is like a banker's. It's just you're getting in later. It's quite interesting. Market structure shift. Yes, correct. Yeah, I agree. But, you know, that now, if you look back at it, that is a good time. Then there was the stop hunt up here, which is what that push up is. And if you've got your stop loss up here somewhere, it's not a big deal. Remember that's first trade. Then once you get this pull up and then drop off again, you get to go red. You'd be in another trade, and another trade, in another trade, in another trade, and again now in another trade. And the idea would be that any one of these, you would move your stop loss, all of them down to this point, depending on how many trades you're in. This is just a nice pair, like AUD and the NZDs. They're just, they keep running. Where we've looked at the other ones that they've tended to sort of, how are you, mate? He's all right. Okay, so yeah. How does that sound? Questions? Feedback?
I have a question, Brian. This is Jay. Hey, in the Discord, is there like a relaxed trading beginners, like where I can see what indicator you're using and without having to question? I don't want to ask you all the questions if it's here in a video. I just don't see it in the Discord.
It's really simple. One EMA. CM EMA trend bars. Settings 7. Show the trend style. Make sure these are opacity 100 and that's ticked. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. And then start looking at market structure and move. But I'll put a video if I show stop here and we go over here.
So just Like the 30,000 foot view, you're just trading daily structure. When you get a break, then you go to the 3 hour and look for a change of color in that trend bar.
Well, no, you're working on the 3 hour and you're looking at the daily or higher timeframes for the overall trend, Jay. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
So if you go here over to the
I mean, I can watch some of your other recordings. I just didn't know if there was
see this relaxed strategy.
Oh, there
You got an overview one there, and you've got an updated. I will put the next video, which was from yesterday. I'll put that in here as well. Which, if you go to up here, you can actually see it before. If you go to live session recordings and you go up, that is yesterday's one there.
Perfect.
Actually, we can do that.
I looked right past that before it says relaxed strategy. I apologize.
Yeah, and that's okay. It was way too relaxed. So I'll put that in there.
Perfect. All right.
So that will give you. Well, I put it in today, but it's actually yesterday's one there. So you can go and watch that in YouTube.
Your targets is just when it pulls back and stops you out. You're not setting a target like a certain risk reward or a higher time frame structure or anything like that.
No, you could no. I'll go back. The simple part to it is your target is when the color on the 3 hour changes. So let's use this as an example here. When that color changes, if you've been in a sell there, when that color changes, you're out of the sell and you're into the buy. When that color changes, you're out of the buy and you're into the sell.
Okay. But there's no alarm. You can't set an alarm for that as far as we know.
Not at this point that I can see.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I can see at the moment, but we'll, we won't stand idle, I don't think. See what we can sort out. But yeah, stop loss down to here now. Some of them depends on where they are. It would be moving the stop loss to have that. It depends on how many trades you're in on each pair and whether the trades, in and down. But one of the things, Jay, is important is looking at what the daily trend bar is doing. And you would normally, to be, how do I put this? To be beginning with this is probably only taking trades that on the 3 hour that match with the trend bar currently on the daily or whatever. For me, I use daily and 3 hourly, right? So if you take a trade now as a buy, probably not the best thing. Right? And if you see this change to green on the daily, then you'd start taking, it'd be more inclined to take daily on the 3 hour, take buys on the 3 hourly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Perfect.
Pretty simple. Very relaxed and simple. There are other, if you watch the video from yesterday or 24 hours ago, there's a lot of discussion with Tom and myself about the actual entries and exits at the change of color and where you'd put stop loss and a lot of those sort of finer points, but it's not something we need to go through now. Oh, Glenn, Glenn hasn't put more stuff. Okay, so yes, it's right, Glenn. It takes a few days for the daily trend bar color to change. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But, hey, you can't win every trade. I'll say it again. And there may be a couple of losses when you get a swing low or swing high back into another direction. So that's just the nature of trading the way it is. So, but like, you know, over the 3 and a bit, whatever weeks, it'll be nearly 4 weeks. What is it, Helen? Something's like, I'm up about at least 30%. Like it's up, my account's up 20% and I've got 114 drawdown on UJ. Like if I close them all now, I'd be up 20% on the account. No problem whatsoever. Yeah. And I've had some losses and I've had some wins that I've closed, like that CADJ, where I've open, closed, and I've got some loss and I've got some profits on it. So that also adds up. So I think it's around about 30 plus whatever percent over 3 weeks. And I haven't been trading as the trend bar now that's been developed over time, that it actually is. Does that make sense? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right. Now, for me, it's Thursday today. It's probably Tuesday so Wednesday for a lot of you, except for Glenn and I. And so tomorrow will be my last session for this week, and then we'll do market open hopefully for next week, and we'll look at pairs. In the chat, I'll probably drop in things I'm doing if I'm going to close trades, open any trade.
Spelling is like a secret me.
Oh no, that's not good, is it? Maybe you stay over here with Pa. You'll be a lot safer.
Yeah.
All right, you come over here and meet these people. They're all. This is Zoe, who's just about. Oh, you're just about turned 6, aren't you? Yeah, in a little while.
In a little while.
In a little while, she'll turn 6. Yeah.
I've still got Emmy's.
Are you still Emmy, who's going to turn 1 next week?
And we've still got Auntie Marty.
Marty, then Dad.
And we've still got Dad.
And then it's your birthday.
And it's my birthday. Birthday. Dad's birthday.
Anyway, that's enough excitement for today. All right, then I'll see you tomorrow. Is that okay, everyone? If you've got questions, put into the chat and go from there.
Thanks,
All right, then.
Brian.
No
Sorry,
worries.
Brent.
Ciao.